It irritates motorists, is a safety hazard, and most importantly, it could be prevented. To solve this problem, it's important to really understand how the scrap rubber gets there in the first place. Many motorists are under the misconception that scrap rubber is the result of a failed retread, which is peeled off of the casing. However, a closer look at this debris shows us the true cause. Most often, when you see rubber on the highway, you also see wire protruding from under the tread. This wire is the remains of the steel belts that are built into truck tires. There is no wire in the tread rubber a retreader puts on a tire, as you can see here. What has happened here is the whole tire has come apart and been destroyed on the highway. Therefore, rubber on the road, for the most part, is a tire maintenance problem. While road hazards contribute to a large number of en route tire failures, properly aired, matched, and well-maintained tires experience a much lower rate of road failures. Tires which are overloaded, underinflated, or carry a heavier load due to being mismatched generate substantially more heat than properly inflated tires, and heat is a tire's worst enemy. As a tire without sufficient air pressure rolls down the highway, it becomes hotter and hotter until the components inside the tire come apart. When this happens, the tire disintegrates, littering the highway with pieces of scrap rubber. Because the tread and belt package normally separate from the rest of the tire when this occurs, retreads are often blamed. But upon closer examination, the wire under the tread rubber tells you the real story. With this knowledge, you can help your company save substantial dollars by ensuring the tires on your vehicle are properly inflated and matched. Those savings translate to greater profit for your company and improved job security for you in a very competitive industry. Truckers and trucking companies across the country spend millions of dollars on tires. In fact, tires are the third largest expense a fleet has after labor and fuel. With the use of radial truck tires, truckers have found that they can greatly reduce their tire costs by retreading their tires several times. In fact, they can cut their tire costs almost in half by retreading their tires twice. And retreading also makes truckers good environmental citizens. How? Well, tires are basically petrochemical products. Approximately 22 gallons of oil are used to manufacture one new truck tire. Most of that oil is found in the body or casing, which is reused in the retreading process. In contrast, only about 7 gallons of oil are needed to retread a truck tire. As a result, approximately 15 gallons of oil are saved every time a truck tire is retreaded. A second environmental benefit of retreading is that it recycles worn tires and puts them back on the road rather than in overcrowded landfills. Each time a tire is retreaded, one less tire is disposed of. However, despite the economic and ecological benefits, the real question in today's competitive trucking climate centers around durability and reliability. Are retreads as safe as new tires? Let's take a look. Virtually all military and commercial jets take off and land on retreads. The small package delivery companies use them to meet guaranteed delivery times. And retreads are the overwhelming replacement tire of choice for school bus operators who carry this nation's most precious cargo, our children. Retread tires are also the overwhelming choice of truckers and trucking companies who purchased 16 million retreads last year compared with only 11 million new replacement tires. The bottom line, retreads are safe, reliable, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly. Their image as scrap rubber on the highway is changing as people become more educated in the true cause of rubber on the road and look for the telltale wire which clearly indicates a tire failure rather than a retread problem. Regardless of whether your truck is riding on retreads or new tires, the most important safety factor to consider is air pressure inflation. Tires which are not properly inflated generate heat, and heat destroys tires and makes our highways less safe for all motorists. The truck tire retread industry invites drivers and fleet tire mechanics to join them in an effort to improve highway safety, reduce vehicle and driver downtime due to en-route tire failures, and save money by regularly checking and inflating tires to maximize their life and performance.
Though they are backed by the best trained and most qualified maintenance teams available, real pros, whether airline pilots or professional truck drivers, wouldn't consider starting a trip until they properly check their equipment. Their precious cargo and their own safety and well-being is far too important to risk. And just like a pilot is responsible for his jet and passengers, you are responsible for your rig and its cargo. And any decision regarding its roadworthiness and safety rests with you, the driver. For the professional truck driver, a proper check of his vehicle's tires could be the most critical part of that pre-trip inspection. Tires are of critical importance for several reasons. One major reason is that the air inside those tires is actually carrying the load. And if they aren't properly inflated, there could be big problems down the road. Underinflated tires generate heat, and heat is a tire's worst enemy. With a modern radial tire, as much as 5 degrees of additional heat is generated for every 2 pounds of underinflation. That means a tire carrying a heavy load, which is, say, 20 pounds underinflated, could be operating up to 50 degrees hotter than it should be. And that's enough heat to blow a tire apart, generating all that scrap rubber you see on our highways. Since tires fall only behind labor and fuel in the cost of operating a fleet, there are a couple other critical reasons for good tire maintenance. Properly inflated tires will maximize fuel mileage and cut operating costs for your fleet. Improperly inflated tires will not only reduce fuel mileage, but will experience an early trip to the scrap pile. Even a worn casing can represent a 30% loss in the tire investment if it is run flat and is not suitable for retreading. So, what does the professional driver look for as he inspects the tires on his rig? First, it is important to understand that with the modern radial tires, it is not possible to determine if a tire is properly inflated by striking it with a wooden bat or tire iron. Quality air gauge is the only tool which can tell you if the tire is properly inflated. Anytime the air pressure is 20% lower than the desired pressure, the tire should be considered flat and must be removed to identify the cause and to properly repair the tire. While performing the pre-trip inspection, it is also important that the driver watches out for cuts, injuries, or foreign objects that might be stuck in the tire. Spotting an injury before the truck leaves can save valuable time that might be lost with a road failure. It can also result in saving the tire casing, which would most probably be destroyed if it traveled any substantial distance without the proper amount of air. When an injury is spotted, don't settle for a quick plug that will get you back on the road. Make sure the tire is removed and properly repaired by a trained tire technician. There are several other reasons for pulling a tire before starting a trip. Let's take a look at some of those out-of-service tire conditions and what you need to look for during your pre-trip inspection. Insufficient tread depth is one of those conditions. 4/32 on the steer axle and 2/32 for all other positions is the legal tread depth limit. However, become familiar with your company's own pull limitations. In some instances, they may be more stringent in an effort to maximize the number of casings salvaged for retreading. In the crown area of the tire, keep an eye out for exposed belt cables, tread bulge, tread chunking or tearing, tread groove cracking, tread edge loosening, and tires that are worn too far or have irregular wear. Also, crown puncture is another out-of-service condition that may be found in the crown area of the tire during a pre-trip inspection. Your inspection should also include a good look at the sidewall area. The following conditions should cause you to remove the tire before leaving on a trip. Cracking of the tire below the bond line, sidewall cracking, ply turnup, shoulder bulge or rupture, sidewall blisters and bumps, sidewall abrasions, a sidewall rupture or a sidewall radial bulge. If any one of these problems goes unchecked, it could result in driving a tire under low pressure, which will eventually run it flat and destroy it. The pre-trip inspection includes many other important safety concerns, such as burned out lights on both the tractor and trailer, fluids which might be leaking from radiator hoses or wheel bearings and hubs, damaged air hoses, broken mirrors, springs and spring hangers. There is also a need to check slack adjusters and look for cracks in the wheels and rims. However, nothing can be more critical than the air you're riding on and the containers or tires holding that air. In addition to all the safety issues, there's also a substantial investment in tires. The actual cost depends upon the size of your truck and the number of tires required. It takes between $5,000 and $6,000 to put 18 new tires on a rig. Even a truck with only 4 or 6 wheel positions could cost almost $1,000. Each time you operate that truck with tires in an out-of-service condition, you risk destroying your tire investment as well as endangering your safety and the safety of the other motorists who share the road with you. So, take a close look at those tires and check for possible conditions that would make it necessary to take those tires out of service before you start your trip. A few minutes is all it takes. Be a real professional. Make sure your pre-trip inspection keeps you safe, prevents en route delays, and helps your company maintain the lowest possible operating costs.